Hello and welcome back to Hop to the Top. Hope you're all doing well today and buckle up because we are taking on Valencia today in both legs of the Europa League Semi Final. Now, in between the two legs, we do actually have a game against Basel, but I'm not going to show you that because we played Basel twice last episode in the quarterfinals, of course, to actually get to the semi-finals against Valencia today. We're also 5 points clear at the top of the table, but even if we beat Basel and Young Boys don't win, we won't actually win the league title just yet. So we'll talk about that a little bit later on. First things first, though, we need to go through the results since you were last here for the win over Basel in the quarterfinal, of the Europa League. So we took on Lausanne, first of all, in the Swiss Super League. 4-0 win there. Bottles with a brace, Bernard with one, and Alex Smith with the other, which is fantastic stuff. We then took on our big rivals, Zurich, in the Swiss Cup semi-final with Randy Schneider, Ross McQuaid, and Matthew Bottles scoring the goals in that one. And then following that, we took on Toon in the Swiss Super League, Sam Shelton and Ross McQuaid getting the goals in that one to make sure we picked up 3 wins from 3 games. So obviously within those results, we managed to get into our 5th Swiss Cup final in a row, which is pretty impressive. Looking for our 4th win in a row. Of course, we lost the first final we got to against Young Boys a good few seasons ago. And I'm going to do that episode tomorrow on Thursday because if we lose to Basel today or beat Basel, we're still going to win the title. But then we will win the title if we beat Young Boys. And in that case, we do the double in an episode. We could beat Young Boys and Lausanne and do the double, which is fantastic, the domestic double. And then if we are lucky enough to qualify for the final of the Europa League, we'll do the final on Friday and then have the weekend off because I'm really busy this weekend, actually. That would then, of course, mean Season 8 starts on Monday, which for me and my OCD, that is really satisfying. But we can't talk about the Europa League final just yet because we still have the semi-final to play and we could crash out against Valencia. It's going to be a really tough game, but we have, in my opinion, the best lineup possible to take them on today. So Kalas in goal as per usual with a backline of Guardado, Ross McQuaid, Haroldinho, Bunce and Cruz because Sterigu is suspended for today's game, but I think these two working in partnership work very well together. Bernardo and Randy Schneider in that centre of midfield with Bernard, Alex Smith and Billy Schmidt in the attacking midfield and our man Matthew Bottles leading the line up to 32 goals in all competitions so far this season now, which is incredible. After quite the slow start, he suddenly decided he's going to start. After quite the slow start, he has decided he's going to start scoring quite a few goals and has now got 21 this season in 29 appearances in the league, 32 in 41 games overall. So pretty good going. So then, kickoff is upon us here today. We are away in the first leg. So obviously, we want to be picking up some good away goals. We're not really too fussed about Valencia scoring 1 or 2, because of course the away goals don't count for them. I think we can go to our place and beat them. But I think if we can get 1 or 2 away goals here, that will make the world of difference. As Valencia are through early on, but Kalas makes a good save, and then Felipe Cruz gets the clearance away. So he's now got a throw-in to take in towards Alex Smith. Felipe Cruz into Randy Schneider, who gets past his man into Billy Schmidt, who's through into Matthew Bottles. Bottles tackle, Billy Schmidt to the shot. And it's a good save from the Valencia keeper in the end. Another chance straight away. There was Guardado, plays it into Paulo Bernardo, who loses possession and is now trying to make up ground to number 7, who's coming forward, racing forward, take the shot on himself. But luckily for us, it's a pretty poor one. So, of course, we need to keep our eyes out on the other semi-final between Arsenal and Lille. We'll look at that in just a second as Felipe Cruz into Randy Schneider. Back to Felipe Cruz. Can we get the ball into the middle? We do. Bernard's there. How has he missed that? All he had to do was tap it in the back of a net and he's blasted it over the bar, which is really frustrating. Arsenal are currently 1-0 up against Lille, courtesy of a Guendouzi goal. So we'll keep an eye out on that one, of course. In the meantime, though, we are doing better than I thought we were going to do. I thought Valencia would really take it to us, but we've actually been the better side in terms of the stats so far. So hopefully that continues. If we can grab a goal just before half-time, that would make things even better. As Felipe Cruz into middle, clear, but only as far as Jerome Bernard. Into Guardado, whose ball forward wasn't brilliant, to be fair, and no one chasing onto it, so no one quite on the same wavelength as us. Their man's through, a number 11's through. They've got so many players through. Number 20 for them takes the shot. Almanda puts it wide of the post, which is lucky for us. And from the resulting goal kick, are we going to come up the other end of the pitch and score the winning goal? As Felipe Cruz in towards Alex Smith, it didn't quite reach the intended target. It was not offside. I thought that number 11 was offside, but Kalas is switched on, makes another good save. And again, we're going for another one of these short goal kicks. It's been put forward to Felipe Cruz. He gets it into Bottles. Bottles Good save from the Valencia keeper. We are putting the pressure on. We seem to be having quite some success coming down this right-hand side of the pitch from goal kicks. But of course, we are Billy Schmidt. What a man from the resulting corner. Felipe Cruz put it into the near post, and Billy Schmidt is there to head it home. 1-0 just before half-time. That is the best time to score, and of course, a crucial away goal as well, which is fantastic. Brilliant stuff from the boys there, just to score before half-time. Felipe Cruz has been playing very well in this first half, and Billy Schmidt, who I think actually has played phenomenally well since last episode, is justified there by scoring a goal. In the Arsenal-Lille game, Arsenal now 2-0 up, so they are firmly putting their foot into the final. I think playing against Arsenal in the final, that could be a step too far, because that Arsenal side is very, very good. Have we actually played many Premier League sides in cup competitions, European Cup competitions? I'm not quite sure, actually, but if we have, I don't think we've really beaten them, as Bottles should have scored. Randy Schneider does score. We've picked up the second goal of the game just after half-time now. 2 away goals for us. I think their goalkeeper fumbles it quite a bit, to be fair. Let's watch this. Felipe Cruz then, into the middle. So Billy Schmitz in the end gets it in the middle. Schneider's shot saved, and Bottles should have really finished it the first, second and third time asking, but Schneider was there to hammer it home. There we go, 2-0 up. You love to see it. We just now need to relax and just keep the pressure on a little bit, but we don't have to be trying to score goals. Just keep possession. Just try and frustrate Valencia, as Alex Smith nearly scores the third goal. Palabernardo back to Felipe Cruz. Bernard's there, heading it just over the bar. He needs to learn to keep his shots down, Bernard, because he's done a few of those today. Bernard picks the ball up in our own half and plays it out towards Billy Schmidt on the right-hand side, up towards Felipe Cruz. Felipe Cruz then, can he put another good cross in? Bottles is there. It's 3-0 away from home in the first leg. Gosh, as long as we don't capitulate in the second leg, we're going to a final, lads. We are going to a final. I can't quite believe how well we've played. I thought this was going to be really tough, because obviously we had a very tough first leg against Seville, didn't we? And that was really tough. And I thought Valencia are better than Seville, so I thought it'd be really tough going to their place, and they probably win the game, which is why at the start I was like, we can sort of concede 1 or 2 goals and it might be okay, because I think we might do all right in the home leg. But I was not expecting this at all. This has been the easiest away leg we've actually had, I think, in the Europa League, because we struggled away to Basel, we struggled away to Seville. I think we beat Lazio away from home. I think we beat Lazio away from home, but still, I was not expecting this, especially in the semi-final. But what a result we have pulled off here today. The fans are going to be singing about this for years to come, unless, of course, we lose in the second leg. Then they won't talk about it ever again, because then it'll be like, how have we lost a 3-0 lead? Either way, I'm delighted with how the boys have played. Good save there from Class as well to keep the clean sheet as it stands right now. There's 2 minutes left of normal time. And can Bottles score? Oh, he can't score. I was going to say, can he get a 4th goal? That really would put the tie to bed. He can't quite. But as the clock ticks down, we've won the game 3-0. Arsenal won 5-0 against Lille. I feel pretty confident in saying that it's going to be an Arsenal Grasshoppers final. Not a whole lot of time off before we get to the Basel game. Obviously, we will rotate the side somewhat, but I do want to try and keep a good core there to try and actually make sure we don't lose too embarrassingly against Basel. But of course, that game's going to be off camera, because I'm not quite sure how interesting it's actually going to be for you. A few of you guys in the comment section, where we've done these 3-game episodes, have said there's no point showing the league games because you just win the league games. Unless you massively rotate the squad, then you lose. It's kind of predictable, and we're not too fussed about the league because we've won the league quite a few times now. We're just interested in European football. So that's kind of what I'm thinking. So of course, if that is what you're thinking, let me know in the comment section. But if you actually do really want to see these games, no matter what, in between the cup games or the European fixtures, then do let me know, because I will do them. It's just, I just think from what I've seen in the comment section, you guys aren't bothered about that middle game. In the end, I did rotate the side somewhat, and we ended up losing to Basel 3-2 there. So Basel guarantee themselves Champions League football with that victory. Young Boys must have played their game at some point because they won their game. They're now 2 points behind us, but if we... Oh, that doesn't mean we're going to win the title now, does it, if we beat them next time? Because then we'll be 5 points ahead of them again, and that's with 2 games to go. So actually, the Young Boys game, we aren't going to win the league title against Young Boys. So that might change next episode to be Luzerne and Luzerne, where we could win the league title against Luzerne and also the cup against Luzerne. So that's going to be the slight change maybe to next episode. And so here we are at the second leg against Valencia, and the lineup has changed a little bit. Obviously, players are very rested. I rested most of the players for the Basel game. But Kalas in goal still. Slight change to the back line with Sterigu coming in for Haroldinho Bunce, just because Sterigu is the best centre-back we've got. He is slightly better than McQuaid and Haroldinho at the moment. I think McQuaid and Haroldinho will quickly get better than Sterigu, but for right now, he is the best centre-back we've got, so he has got to play the games. No change in centre of midfield. Capitano comes on instead of Billy Schmitz because, yes, Billy Schmitz has played phenomenally well, scored his goal last game as well, but both of these players have got fantastic potential, so I feel like I want to keep rotating them and giving them both enough game time. So that's the reason for the rotation there. But other than Sterigu and Capitano, they are the only changes to make. So that's the lineup. Let's go and make sure we book ourselves into the final. So then, kickoff is upon us. 90 minutes waits between us and the Europa League final, most likely against Arsenal, as Felipe Cruz's corner put into the box early on, clear, but only as far as Paolo Bernardi plays it back out towards Felipe Cruz, into Sterigu, back to Felipe Cruz, Sterigu on the ball, up forward in towards Paolo Bernard. Alex Smith is there to meet the rebound. We're already 1-0 up in the home leg, 4-0 on aggregate. Valencia have got an absolute mountain to climb. They've got to score 4 goals at least if they want to go through, and I can't see that happening at all, as Alex Smith picks up his 16th goal of the season. He's been a machine this season in the back of the net. You love to see it. Obviously, reaching a major European final means one thing, that the final, we're going to do it as a premiere. So, as I'm recording this right now, my plan is to do the premiere at 8 p.m. UK time on Friday, because that's when the episode is going to come out, obviously. So that's when we're going to have a premiere. Essentially, if you know what a premiere is, the video comes out as per normal at 8 o'clock, but we all like to get together to what it comes out as a live stream, essentially. It looks like a live stream, comes out at 8 o'clock. We can all comment live alongside with it. And then, of course, if you missed the premiere, it just uploaded as a normal video immediately afterwards. So it's just like a normal video. But if you want to tune in at 8 o'clock, you can sort of watch it live with everyone and have some live reactions, which is fantastic, as Bottles puts his shot just wide. They're good fun, to be fair, premieres. They are good fun. I always say it. We need to do more of these, because afterwards, like, I really enjoy talking to you guys and things. And I say to myself, we need to do more of these, but then I never do more of them, do I? Because we don't. There's no point doing them unless it's like a cup final or like a relegation battle, but we never really are in those. Or we are in cup finals, but they're not that exciting anymore, so they don't really warrant a premiere, for example. So that's my thinking behind it. But we're going to do a premiere for the final when we get there. I'm going to say should we get there, when we get there. I can't see us losing this now, especially as Bottles is nearly going to score a goal, doesn't quite score a goal there. Valencia coming forward just before half-time. Can they grab their first goal of the tie? They can't. Sterigu gets it cleared, and that is half-time, with Arsenal still 0-0 with Lille. But again, Lille have got to score 6 goals, actually, haven't they, to go through against Arsenal, which they're not going to do. I tell you what, I am absolutely buzzing for the final. I think it's going to be so exciting. Arsenal are obviously a very, very good side, and we're going to have to be at our best to beat them. But, and this is the big but, if Arsenal really were a top quality side, then they wouldn't be in the Europa League. They'd be in the Champions League, wouldn't they? All right. We've had, actually, I said earlier, I wasn't sure if we played English sides at all in any European competition, but we had Liverpool in the group stages a couple seasons ago, didn't we? Or maybe it was this season, I can't remember. We had Liverpool either way, and I think we lost to Liverpool both times, but it wasn't like a drubbing. Like they were a good side, they beat us, but it wasn't like 8-0 or something like that. And Liverpool are better than Arsenal because they're in the Champions League, whereas Arsenal aren't, as Matthew Bottles picked up his 35th goal of the season. I'm not quite sure how it went in the back of the net, so I'll watch the replay. But we weren't battered by Liverpool, so I feel like we could give Arsenal a run for their money because they're not as good as Liverpool, and I feel like we'll be the underdogs, branded as the underdogs. As I'm still not sure how Bottles got that in the back of a net, but just pure tenacity from him. Great stuff there to score the goal in the end, which is fantastic. But as I was saying, I don't think Arsenal are probably quite as good in this version of the game at this particular point in the game as we probably think they are. So I think it's going to be quite a close game, and we might be able to cause an upset, as we might have just won a penalty. We have done, not entirely sure what it's for. Who's taking the penalty? I can't see the number. Oh, there we go. Randy Schneider to take the penalty. It is saved, unfortunately, but luckily for us, it doesn't matter because we're 5-0 up on aggregate with 10 minutes to go. We're about to get to the final, boys. We're about to get to the Europa League final. The Europa League has weirdly got easier and easier. I mean, apart from the Lazio game, because that was a little bit harder than the Seville game. But since then, it's got easier and easier as on our road to the final. And hopefully the final is going to be the easiest one, but it won't be the easiest one at all, will it? Because Arsenal are a very good side. Smith with probably the final move of the game into Paulo Bernardo. Bernard on the ball, putting it into the middle, gets it onto Schneider's head, who puts it over the bar. But that is surely going to be that now. There can't be any more highlights to go. Apparently there's goal kickers are highlights. We don't care too much about it. And to be fair, Valencia, if you look at the stats, I didn't even notice this, but Valencia have been arguably the better side. 16 shots to 14 shots, 9 on target to 6 on target. We had 4 clear-cut chances, they're 2 clear-cut chances, to be fair, so we've done better there. But Valencia haven't played badly, they just couldn't score the goals. Our defence, as you can see from Sterigu and McQuaid on a 7.7 and a 7.2, were phenomenal today, keeping Valencia out. And Arsenal draw 0-0 with Lille, which means it is going to be a Grasshoppers versus Arsenal final. That is mental. We've been given £2 million for reaching the final. We're playing Arsenal. Where is the final being held? Does it want to tell us? Where is it being held? Oh, Vasilevsky. That sounds very Russian to me. It won't let me click on the stadium. If we just go into Europa League, click here. It's a Bulgaria, not Russia. It doesn't look like a prestigious arena. I mean, sorry if you're Bulgarian and it's your team stadium, but it's not quite the same as like Wembley, is it, if we're being honest with you? Bulgaria and CSKA Sofia are the residents or tenants of the stadium. I mean, it's a nice stadium. It looks all right. I mean, I don't quite understand what the lions are for, because as far as I'm aware, CSKA Sofia don't have lions on their badge, neither does Bulgaria. No. So I'm not... Maybe that's just the wrong stadium. Maybe it's somehow gone a bit wrong. I don't know. No, according to Google, that is the stadium. So, fair play. I'm not quite sure what those lines represent, but they're there. But of course, because I am a horrible person, I'm making you wait for the final until Friday. Tomorrow, we've got the Swiss Cup final, and we have got a game against Luzern. And if we win it, providing we don't lose to Young Boys in the process, that's actually quite a big possibility, I've got to say. Providing we don't lose to Young Boys, we could go and beat Luzern to win the Swiss League Super League as well, which is fantastic. So potentially the treble is on this season. The treble is on. So thank you very much for watching today's cracking episode. I've got to say, what a performance we put in against Valencia. So pleased with the way we played and securing ourselves our first European final. Join me tomorrow, of course, for the Cup final and potentially winning the Swiss League, and then of course the Arsenal game on Friday. But until then, have a wonderful few days and I will see you then. So have a great one. Goodbye.